Will and Bob's Pub was a restored Western-style dance hall saloon in Arlene, Nebraska. Not a typo. And as usual, the place was packed. On stage, skinny, 5 feet 2 inches, Sally Goose wobbled about on stiff, bony, wooden-like legs, her long wavy red hair swinging from side to side. She wore black fishnet stockings with red glittery pumps and a short, ruffled, low-cut, knee-length, black and red dance hall girl's dress, which hung over her 2 ample handfuls of cleavage supported by spaghetti straps across her bony, pale shoulders. She sported a black and red feathered boa about her neck and spewed out a quirky monologue of droll humor and manic outbursts at the audience. "If you're not going to laugh, then get the hell out of here." "Oh, kill me. Please kill me," she shrieked at the full house. "Oh great, now my foot's asleep. Oh my God, I've got comatose." The audience roared with laughter, and everybody seemed to be enjoying the show, but one man wasn't enjoying it enough for Sally. She pointed to the man who was sitting in the front row wearing a black and purple shirt and chastised him. "Hey, what's up with the black and purple? You heckling me? You trying to say that I'm about as funny as a funeral? I've had with you, mister, your fucking ass is mine." With that, Sally donned a pair of spiked knuckle gauntlets and flung herself from the stage. She landed directly on the man's head, the arms and legs on her 5-foot frame swinging and kicking. Blood streamed down from the man's head as she pummeled him with her fists. The man kept laughing and did not raise a finger to defend himself. Sally crunched bones in his face, blackened his eyes, bloodied his head and face, and broke some of his fingers. She then dragged him from his seat by his hair and stomped with both feet on his back until she exhausted her rage. The audience continued to howl with laughter. Sally scanned the crowd for a moment, then hollered at them to shut the fuck up. "I want one of you to call this guy an ambulance. Just one of you. If I hear more than one voice, the second person is gonna get the same thing this guy just got. 5 seconds, bitches. You're an ambulance," one man said, jumping to his feet and pointing to the down man. Luckily, he had beat everyone else to the punch, literally. "Show's over," Sally said, turning and wobbling back toward the stage. "Everybody go home. Oh yeah, and get this man an ambulance for real." Will and Bob stood quietly at the back of the club, leaning against the bar, drinks in hand. They had watched this same scene go down over and over again, Friday night after Friday night, for the last few months. One night, Sally would end her show by beating someone's ass with brass knuckles. Another night, a billy club. Another night, it might be a medieval ball and chain or a hot poker. But let's back up a bit here. How in hell did all of this come to be in the first place? Well, let's start with Will and Bob. Will and Bob are childhood friends who grew up together in Pinch, Nebraska, a small town even smaller than Arlene, and like many other small towners, they dreamed of bigger and better things. This was not that big of a dream since there wasn't much that could be smaller or worse than spending their lives in Pinch. So, when Will and Bob were still in high school, they made a pact to leave Pinch and look for an opportunity to start their own business elsewhere. They had decided that they wanted to open some sort of store or shop. The plans they made were not exactly well thought out. Pretty much, it was just we'll work until we've saved a good amount of money and then head for Governor, which was the capital of Nebraska and the largest city in the state. When they got to Governor, they just figured they'd find a hotel to stay at and look around for a storefront to rent. Just make it up as they went along. Then something happened that they hadn't counted on. A detour to a town called Arlene. It was car trouble on their way to Governor that had led them to this tiny town. It was a town they had never heard of, which surprised them since it was only about 80 miles from Pinch. Walking from their stalled Hyundai Elantra, they had followed a road sign that said Arlene was just about a mile or so down a side road. When they got to Arlene, the local service station went back and towed in their car and told them they needed transmission parts that would take a couple of weeks to get. But it was okay because the garage would fix their car for free and the town would give them a free hotel room until the car was repaired. They didn't have to worry about a thing. The locals didn't get a lot of visitors, and they were thrilled to have some new faces in town. Bob and Will were highly suspicious of the situation but didn't really have much of a choice. They were in the middle of nowhere with no phone reception, so they took the free hotel room and then went for a stroll around Arlene to see what the town was all about. Everywhere they went, they were greeted with friendly smiles by the townsfolk and offered free goods and services at every shop they visited. They kept looking at each other like, what the heck is going on here? It was while walking about that they came upon an old Western-style dance hall saloon. It was a pretty phenomenal sight that contrasted all the modern-day houses and buildings in the town. It was a throwback to a distant era that still looked every bit as it did when it was first built, they imagined. On the front porch, an old codger, who said his name was Jeb, was sitting in a wooden rocking chair. "Howdy," he called to Will and Bob. "That's a pretty remarkable place that you've got there." Bob told him. "Not mine," Jeb answered. "This place belongs to Sally. Right now, it ain't even operating, and she's looking for someone to run it for her. If you boys are interested, you can go talk to her. She's right inside." "No, we're not interested," Will said, "but thanks anyway." "Too bad," Jeb told them, "that you boys ain't looking for a good business opportunity. 'Cause if you was, you'd be fools to pass up this place. But maybe someone who is looking for one will come along soon. The townsfolk would really love to see this saloon open again, even if it was only for a little while. You could just do it while you were waiting for your car to be fixed. Everybody would flock here and you boys would make a excuse me, I mean a heck of a lot of money." "We are looking for a business opportunity," Will told Jeb, "but if this place is such a gold mine, why isn't someone making money from it right now?" "'Cause of Sally," Jeb told them. "She's very particular about who she does business with. She don't want to deal with none of the locals, and right now you boys are the only unlocals round here. So like I said, she's right inside. Can't hurt to talk, can it? What the hell else y'all got to do anyhow?" Jeb was right. They didn't have anything else to do, so they went ahead inside and met Sally, which turned out to be an experience for which they were not prepared. Sally sat in a huge office in the rear of the saloon behind a large walnut desk that was 10 times as big as she was. Sally was pale, thin, and frail-looking. She looked as if she only stood about 5 feet high. She had long, stringy blonde hair about halfway down her back. She wore a white, Western-style nightshirt with ruffled cuffs and collar and was crunching on a glass of ice. "Who the fuck are you?" she asked when Will and Bob came walking in, spitting ice in their direction. "I'm Will, and this is my friend Bob," Will answered as the two of them wiped the ice residue from the front of their clothes. "Jeb, out on the front porch, told us we could come in here and talk to you about maybe running this place." "He did, huh? Well, I guess I'll have to beat his ass later for that one. And don't let me forget, or I'll beat the fuck out of the two you also," Sally said, with a sarcastic tone and a grin. "Yeah, sure, no problem," Will told her, somewhat grinning himself. Huh, Sally said. "Well, let me impress one more thing on you guys. If either one of you ever, yeah, sure is me again, your fucking face is gonna look like hamburger. It's either gonna be, yes, or no. Don't answer, just keep your fucking mouth shut and listen. The two of you are gonna run this place for me because I like you. You enjoy yourselves today. Anything in this town is yours for the taking, including the women. You be back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp, and we'll go over the deal. If you're not here, believe me, you'll pay for that. If you have any questions, keep them to yourselves. Now get the fuck out and have a nice day." Will and Bob left the saloon in a state of mild shock. What exactly had just happened? Were they being held prisoner or something? What did she mean that they would pay? They both looked at each other and knew that the other was having the same thought. And that was that as soon as their car was ready, they were going to be gone from this town as fast as they could get the hell out. That night, the townsfolk took them from bar to bar and plied them with food and drink. Every place they went, the women were all over them. Guys were even pushing their wives on them, saying things like, "Hey, what do you think of my wife? Don't tell me now, let me know in morning." Eventually, the boys were so drunk that they had to be carried to their hotel rooms. They each woke up to find 3 beautiful girls in their rooms, one in their bed, another bringing them breakfast, and a third putting out their clothes. When they were showered and dressed, the girls took them downstairs to a waiting limo.